welcome back to Simply Watching. So, I know it's been a couple of weeks since we've last caught up with each other, but I'm back. I've been a little busy with school and everything, but I'm back. So, girlfriends, we are on season 1, episode 3, Girlfrenzy. Last episode, I said it a little weird, but Girlfrenzy for sure. My hair is just really looking lopsided, and I don't really care for it, but whatever. That's not what we're here. So, let's get straight into it. Girlfrenzy. This episode is really funny because they get into a fight outside of the club. We're gonna get into the details and get into the why and how and with who, but this is a real deal episode. So, this episode definitely focuses on the rivalry between, Maya and Tony, and kind of their battle, but not really. I think the battle is kind of one-sided. Their battle, but for Joan's number one spot in the friend group. I don't understand why Tony was fearful that it would be Maya to be if there was a ranking or this is my best friend, this is my best friend, this is my friend, it's not gonna be my. At this point they hadn't even been friends that long, and they were still getting to know each other, so it's girl, what? But anywho, let's get into it. So the girls want to go to a club and have a really good time going out. So they're trying to think where can we go? Where do we have the hookup? But Joan doesn't have any connections. Joan is not the party girl. You could tell Joan has never been the party girl. She's never those people that they were the party girl in their day, but it's not really, not no more. Yeah, that wasn't her, ever. She always needed a friend that was gonna help her get in the club, or always, that was gonna give her the connections, or, be a little smoother than her. So, Tony is her girl for this. But, here's the thing. Maya is now the new girl. So, Maya has these different connections, and we're kind of seeing, and I think it's kind of in a different way. Tony has connections because she likes to flirt, she likes to flaunt her beauty, she likes to do get her connections through that kind of thing, and acquire her things through those kind of things. And Maya is kind of just everybody's her cousin, and she knows everybody, and she's just popular, she likes to talk to people, that kind of connection, and I'm gonna connect you this way. So two completely different, not completely different, but two different ways of connecting, but both can get you what you need at any point in time. We start the episode with a little highlight on how much of a user Lynn is. This episode just isn't about Tony and Maya and Joan's relationship. Lynn, they did a little sprinkle on Lynn and how much she be abusing Joan. Okay, let me slow down. Maybe not that, but she definitely uses her in their friendship. She took her car to Tijuana. Lynn, what are we doing? You was smuggling people from back forth here, there to Mexico in somebody else's car. Since when can we do that, friend? Why are we doing that? That's so weird. Don't make me tell you where to go and how far to get there. In somebody else's car, because it's not gonna be mine. You've done enough in my car. Chill out. So that, but of course that's going to be highlighted definitely later, because Lynn is something else, man. So, back to the club. They're trying to figure out where they're going to go and stuff like that. And Maya walks in, ready to go out. They still haven't decided, but Maya's I can get you here, I can get you in there, I can get you wherever. Tony has a little bit of a problem with this. Tony has a problem because, again, like we said, they both have connections, and they both like the fact that they can get Joan and just anybody to wherever they need based off of their connections and the fact that they're the person doing the hookup. Because it's been Tony for so long, and that's kind of how their friendship was. She's kind of threatened by this new person coming in here and be like flaunting her connections and being able to get them into places, and it's like, girl, who are you? Like, I'm the one that gets us into parties. I'm the one that has the connections with people. I'm not true. And Maya's like, girl, whatever, get over it. Like, do you want to get in here or not? Which, yeah, like, who cares? Who does it? Like, we're all friends. Maya and Tony still got that little beef thing here and there, but we still hang out in the same circle, so why not? Like, I have the connections to X, Y, and Z. Without me, y'all couldn't get into X, Y, and Z, so why not utilize my stuff? I honestly think Tony was being bougie and jealous of Maya in this episode in particular. Jealous because of what I just said about how I feel like she definitely wanted to be the friend that have the connections and can get you wherever you need to go. But bougie because why are you accusing Maya of lying about going to France? Who does that? Now, there are people who do that. So we won't go that far. But who, like, why would she lie to y'all about her and her husband going to France? Like, that's just such a random thing to say. Like, it's not even like y'all was talking about France one day and the next thing you know, she popped up like, hey, you know, I've been to France. You know, I just went and I had a ball. No, like, they literally complimented her on a piece of clothing and she said, oh yeah, thank you, I got it from France. Like, that's just so weird to just like randomly say or to just like pull out of your butt if it's not true. So it's like, why would she lie about that? But of course, because Tony thinks that she's so ghetto and that she can't travel or she can't be cultured or she can't, you know, travel outside of the United States or California, it just has to be a lie. Like, there's no way on earth that she could have went to France with her husband and had a great time. And it's kind of annoying because it's just like, girl, like, again, but here you are, right, Miss Fabulous, who has never been to France. So catch that tea. Like, why are you throwing so many shades, so much shade, so many shots at Maya for traveling? Like, that's so weird. I mean, and they carried this out the whole episode. We'll get to it. But so they have, not only do they have this beef about like who can get them into what club, but now they have this like little argument about if Maya's been to France or not. Don't nobody have time for this. Are we going to the club or not? Like, now we're about to get into an argument about who can do what, when, where, how, why. Like, this is dumb. Like, this is really sad. So I definitely think Tony's jealousy and her, you know, just bouginess, enviousness, classism, egregiousness, it just really jumped out in the episode. Like, it was pretty crazy. So they finally decide they either want to go to Liquid City or they want to go to Crete. Maya can get them in the boat. Maya said, I got my cousins work everywhere, okay? I am known around here, okay? These parts, my parts. I know about the town and I'm going to take you. So she's like, I can get you wherever you need to go. And of course, Tony has a problem with this. She's like, you ain't nobody trying to get us into nowhere. No. So, of course, when Maya says, oh, fine, I can get us into Crete. No, let's go to Liquid City. Okay, well, whatever. We're going to Liquid City. Because you're not about to sit here and call me a liar about going to France and you about to tell me that I don't have the hiccup to get into the club? No. Like, and I get it because I still have a little bit of petty in me and yeah. You're not about to sit here and call me just all kind of liars. Like, that's crazy. So, they definitely head to the club and her cousin, sure enough, was working the door. Like, she definitely shouted her out, and which is so humiliating and such a humbling experience. Tony has to beg Maya to let her cousin, she has to beg, she has to beg Maya to ask her cousin to let her in because she can't get in any other kind of way. Like, they not taking, you know how they see like a group of girls or they see a girl that's real fine and they be like, okay, you can come in. They didn't do that for her. There's like so many people outside of this club trying to get in and just like, they're not even paying attention to something. So she's just like, but again, Maya has a hookup and Maya knows homeboy working the door. Like, that's her cousin, play cousin, real cousin, whatever. Who knows with Maya? But they get in. So of course, Tony looks at Joan and she's like, this is how funny. This is how funny people are, right? Tony asked Joan to get her in. Like, Joan, talk to them. Tell me to get me in. And Joan looked at her and said, I don't have the hookup. You gonna have to talk to the person that got the hookup, and you know who has the hookup. So, like, don't get out here and play. You know who has the hookup to get us into this club. But you don't want to ask her because you know that's going to be a real humbling experience. And technically, she has every right to tell you to go to hell. So, she's like, I don't have the hookup. And Maya's just like, oh, wow, like, this is crazy. So, but Joan does it anyway. And Joan's just like, Maya, come on, like, let her in. Like, she's here, like, she's our friend. Like, I love her. You may not love her, but I love her. Can you just let her in? And Maya's like, okay, whatever, fine, but she says something, and don't validate her parking. Like, ooh, okay, whatever. As soon, it was gonna be good as gravy. And as soon as Tony steps that one foot towards the door, some other girl that nobody was talking to decides that she wants to walk up and get into the club. First of all, let's talk about it. Because why did you think anybody was talking to you and saying that you could get in? Who are you? This whole time we haven't been talking to you. Who are you? Where did you come from? And why are you here? Because no. She's like, he was looking at me, and Tony's like, he was talking to me. Like, he's telling me I can come in. Now, he's kind of petty because he definitely could have clarified who he was talking to in that moment to squash that whole thing. But no, he's just gonna stand there like, y'all figured out who I was talking to? Because I don't know all of a sudden. Like, so, they're both going back and forth like, he's talking to me. Joan is like, actually, not to be that type of gal, but he was talking to my friend. The girl's like, was anybody talking to you, though? Which is crazy because nobody was ever talking to you. Like, random girl, nobody was ever talking to you. Everybody was talking to each other. Nobody was talking to you. So, that's pretty crazy. She said, was anybody talking to you? And she's like, I'm just, like, trying to clarify because y'all seem to be, like, y'all got it confused. Like, he wasn't talking to you. And so Tony's like, don't be backpedaling and, trying to explain and clarify for her. Like, you don't owe her nothing. They get into a verbal boop, boop, boop. Tony calls her bald-headed. Now, technically, she was. Like it was scout. Like, she was bald-headed. So the B word came after that. But I mean, and next thing you know, boom, boom, scrapping outside the club. Ah! But guess who comes in? Guess who comes in and has Tony's back? It ain't Joan. It definitely ain't Lynn. Does Lynn even give fighter? No. Lynn gives, like, I don't know what she gives. I think she might have jumped in it to kind of like stir up some confusion. I don't think she was really in there trying to throw them bows, but Joan did not jump in. Joan is just like, still talking to the side camera, right? Because they still had that happening in season 1, which again, I am so grateful to God that they got rid of that in the following seasons. But Jesus, like, she's still talking to the side camera, still confused, like, what is happening? Oh my God, like, stop it. Why are we fighting? Blah, blah, blah. Child, they got into a tussle. Never did make it into the club. Sitting on the side, shoes all off, the earrings then popped off, belly ring and fell out. How? I don't know why. Or how. Hair all twisted like crazy. Now Tony is livid. Tony is pissed. Okay, she had to eat some humble pie and beg Maya to get her into the club that she thought she had to hook up at. Now she has to face the fact that her friend didn't even jump in and physically defend her. Okay, like in a fight, but the one person who did was her enemy, her arch nemesis that she been beefing with this whole time. She don't know how to feel, right? So she stopped talking to Joan. Joan is confused. She's like, what? And William and William and Davis, bruh. William and Davis, of course they were there. Well, William went with them to the club. But here come Davis, because Davis was just everywhere when he owned 847. Like, you just all over the place. He shows up and he's just like, whoa, like, oh no, I think he was already in the club and heard that it was some women out there arguing, and he was hoping that they wasn't black. And then as soon as he said, dang, they black, not only are they black, but I know them. Like, so then he looks at Joe and he's like, you must be, a real boxer. Like, you really does this, because you don't have a scratch on you. And it's like, no, she's a chicken. She didn't jump in at all. And they was like, because we all know how people feel about those friends that don't be jumping in for their friends. Like, and I mean, she had valid points, right? She is an attorney. That could have went really, 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 really left. And then, Future. I think, you know what it is? I don't think Joan is that type of friend that don't have your back. I think Joan is the type that really thinks about everything long term. And is kind of like, is this really worth it? Because her argument was that, I could be disbarred if I get arrested for fighting outside of a club, which is very ghetto and very tacky, mind you. Like, Tony is always about everything else, but here you are fighting outside on La Cienega. But I'm just kidding. Nice, it probably went. I don't know, but here you are fighting outside of a club with some chick that you don't even know, which is like, really? So that's number one. Number two, once you start getting a little bit more up there in age, it's like fighting is just like, really, like, I don't really want to. And again, valid points, but it's just still, it's like, that was your friend. Like, you just kind of let her, like, get her butt kicked. And in the words of Tony, I was your best friend, and I was getting my butt kicked. And then here go William. I don't understand. I think what she's trying to say is she was your best friend, and she was getting her butt kicked. Like, and so, so they get into that whole thing of like, was she supposed to have her back or not? Like, was she supposed to? Oh my god, how hard was that? Was she supposed to have her back physically jumping into a fight or not? Joan is like, I told you to just walk away from the situation, right? Granted, okay, let's put myself in that situation. I probably would have walked away just because I don't know you and it ain't that deep. And homeboy knew who he was talking to. So again, Tony, come on, let's go to the club. Like, let's have fun. She obviously, she's trying to get into the club. That's why she being so desperate, and like that's why she trying to overstep and do everything and you whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. Like, but then you just can't let certain disrespect slide. So I don't know. But again, I don't think it was Joan not trying to have Tony's back. I just think she's that type of friend that really thinks about things like long term and how things can like mess up or, just kind of ruin like how things snowball. And I don't think she really was in the mood for none of that. So, they kind of like, Tony just like stops talking to her. It's kind of childish, really. It really is childish. Because it's like, are you going to stop being her friend over it or what? Like, you got her silent treatment for what? Like, I mean, it happened. Like, okay, she didn't handle it how you thought she should have handled it. What else? What else is going on? What else? Like, well, okay. So she finds Maya's wedding ring lodged in her cleavage, child, and comes all the way to Joan. But you know what? She not nothing either, because she knew they was gonna meet up eventually. Why did you come all the way to Joan's job where Maya is, because Maya is Joan's secretary? Why did you come all the way to Joan's job just to not speak to Joan? And you knew that was gonna irritate Joan. Like, come on, like, let's stop. So then that's when the whole, like, comes out, and everybody's just like, well, you kind of just, you left her hanging or whatever. To me, I don't feel like any of the friends kind of understood where Joan was coming from enough, because they are grown. She is an attorney, and especially William. Like, Really? You didn't understand at the slightest why Joan didn't like physically tussle? What does Lynn have to lose? What does Lynn have to lose? She doesn't have a job. She doesn't have a career. She doesn't have kids. She doesn't have a 401k. Like, what does Lynn have to lose? That's why she, again, I just think she jumped into the fight because she didn't have nothing else going on. Like, Lynn was low-key hoping that they did get arrested so she could have a good night's sleep and some free food. Like, no. Lynn is out of the category when it comes to good friends in that scenario because Lynn don't have nothing to lose. So let's not get friendship advice when it comes to that from Lynn Searcy. She has nothing to lose. Maya, okay, you had a kid, you had a husband, and you have a job at a law firm. You had a lot to lose, actually. But I guess that was the whole point. It was like Maya had something to lose. Maya didn't even like Tony, wasn't even her best friend, didn't even consider her a likable person at that time, but was still throwing bows because it was like, okay, no, we came with each other and ain't nobody about to punk you about nothing, which is admirable. I mean, and honestly, they should have been the bestest of pals after that, but you know how Tony is, and couldn't even apologize. You know when somebody says something to you that after you doing something, like thank you, yeah, something of that. No, girl, you gonna say it. You gonna say it. You gonna tell me. You gonna spell it out. Thank you. I'm sorry, because that's what you should be. You should be sorry and you should be thankful. And then still thought she was lying about going to France. Like, she literally sat up there and said, she was like, yeah, that's fine, but one thing I'm not is a liar. She gonna go, Maya, there is no way you've been to France. What? Are we still talking about this? I've been. Not only have I been, but I've been before you nitwit. Like, get it through your head. People travel. And they don't always have to be on first class to do it. So, but I guess you don't. So that's crazy. They end up making up at the end. You know, Joan apologizes for not being there for Tony. Tony pouts and doesn't understand where Joan is coming from and why she didn't defend her. Then it comes out that Tony was jealous of Maya becoming friends with Joan. And when did our threesome become a foursome? In fact, when did our twosome become a threesome? Yeah. So it's a lot of emotions and a lot of things happening there. A lot of friendships are being challenged and tested. But do they stand the test of time? Tony and Joan didn't, spoiler alert. But we will get to that later. This was a very interesting episode. I think this is one episode where Joan had valid points that I don't think the group recognized or acknowledged. At least you may not agree 100%, or again, you may recognize those points and still be like, yeah, but you could have slid a little bit for your friend. But they completely just acted like she had no reason to not like jump into a fight with a couple of strangers on a sidewalk outside of a dirty, like, musty club. Like, be for real. Like imagine getting into a fight on the sidewalk outside of the Viper Room, okay? Circa 2000 and like one. Like, just imagine. You know how dirty and dingy that is? Like, I just can't. Okay, born and raised in Los Angeles, California, I can imagine getting into no fight with nobody on the sidewalk in like a freakum dress and some strappies. Like, that's crazy to me. So for them to even question that, what? But then again, if your friend is in a tussle, you're not just gonna stand there and not do anything. So there's that. I don't know. Valuable lessons learned, guys. I guess. Maybe not. They never got into that situation again. So, you know, some good things happened. Catch us here next time. Episode 4, season 1. I forgot the name of the episode and I kind of forgot what it was about. So, next week will be a surprise. Just know it's episode 4. And if you've seen it, great. We can discuss. Maybe it'll be next week. Maybe not. I'm trying to be consistent with the timing and everything like that. It's hard. So we'll see. But other than that, catch you guys later.